Good day to all of YouTube, and welcome to my Let's Play of Banjo-Kazooie Challenge Run. In this challenge run, I'll be endeavouring to do a normal Let's Play, but without actually acquiring any extra honeycomb pieces, and I'll show you what they are when we get to them. First we'll select our language. Very exciting stuff right off the bat. And let's get into it. We must first delete this. Z to delete a save file. And let's start off. We can see, well, what can we see here? Lots of green smoke, and of course it's around a witch's statue. And apparently a layer 2. As intros go, it's actually pretty good. It's not like Mario 64 where it's just a letter from Princess Peach. Very good cinematic this. Yeah, we start off with a bit of a Snow White sort of theme here. Who's the prettiest of them all? At least in Snow White the witch there was, well, the Wicked Queen from Snow White was actually pretty decent looking. I don't know what this witch is dreaming about. Probably she needs to see a psychiatrist if she thinks she's that good looking. Just in passing, notice the objects. They're not really perfectly round. They all seem to have some sort of straight edge to them. Mostly in hexagon shapes, because obviously honeycombs. The door knocker you might have noticed earlier was a pentagon. I'm not sure what they use for specific items theme-wise, but that's just an observation. It seems to be like that for most of the N64 games. I remember watching a Let's Play of Mario 64, and one of the Let's Players, every time Mario got a star, he would say, Pentagon Punch. Oh, we see a few new characters here. Oh, we see a mole. What's your name? We don't get to see that yet. You would think 2D would ask his name once in a while, if the mole would actually know her name. There's Banjo, there's Kazooie. I wonder if she actually lives in there. It would seem so. It's very strange. Oh shit. Witch is on the move. And that mole, seriously, those glasses he wears must be pretty damn useless if you can't see that that's not a bear. And that it's flying. He must be pretty dumb to know that bears can't fly. And it's on. It's a bitch fight outside. Literally a bitch fight. Scratching and biting. Not much of a fight. Then again, I guess 2D is a little girl. Don't get why the witch just didn't use magic on her, cast a prison around her. And we get started at last. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you outside. Later when you get a specific jump, you'll be able to jump on these trash cans here. And when I finally get a bit of view, there's an extra life up here. You'll need to use a double jump to actually reach that, and I'll show you later what that is. And we might finally get to learn his name. Oh, there we go, Bottles. I think the name is Bottles anyway. These two will casually exchange insults throughout the entire game. Quite amusing to watch, even though it's on a sort of a childish level. Suits my inner child very well. Definitely need some training. Normally, in a normal playthrough for myself, I just go straight up to Spider-Man and get into it. Obviously, on a full playthrough, I'll be showing you where to get every move and what every move does. And we go to our first molehill. What are we going to see here? Awesome, camera controls. Definitely very useful here. Controls, if you don't use them properly, they can be a bit wonky. But generally they work really well. And the best part, in Mario 64, if you zoomed in, you could not really look behind you. But zooming in on Banjo-Kazooie, you can look in any direction you want. You're not limited by anything. There we go to our next move. What do we got? Jumping. Definitely need jumping. And we improve our basic jump. Banjo couldn't really jump high before. He's a fat bear, of course, that's why. Now, Bottles calls it the double jump. I like to think of it more of a hover. Sort of comparable to Yoshi's hover ability, except in this game you cannot do it more than once in a single jump. And this jump here you'll be using a lot to reach high places. In fact, that's where our extra honeycomb piece is. Just run over here, you can see it in the distance on the top. Use our extra height, and there we go. Too easy. So we'll go off into our next area now. To our next molehill. I believe this is swimming. Lovely. Much like in Mario 64, there's a level pretty much dedicated to swimming. I think that level was Jolly Roger Bay in Mario 64. You'll be using B underwater a lot just to swim faster, especially in that underwater level. I'll get to that when we get to the level rather. There's the extra honeycomb piece. To actually get specific objectives underwater, you probably need to use A instead of B. B tends to be a bit too quick. A is more precision. And we got our next molehill here. We get our first attack. Beautiful. You probably won't use this terribly much in the way of attacking. It's more to break things, such as these boulders. I like how the boulders have eyes, by the way. To get our next honeycomb piece, you need to break all 4 of the boulders. The last boulder every time, doesn't matter which order you do it in, will have your extra honeycomb piece in it. You go up to our next one, the attack molehill. This will probably take the longest to finish, even though it's not that long really. And we get our first attack, the bear swipe. You won't really use it that often. More often you'll use the second attack we learn here and or the third one. It's really too slow to use a bear swipe. And any enemy you can use a bear swipe on, you can use the other 2 attacks on as well. I don't know why they give you 2 of each enemy here to practice on. You really don't need it, because as soon as you finish this training session, enemies spawn around Spiral Mountain. You can just train on them. There was the bear roll attack. You'll be using that a bit more often on the move when there's tons of enemies about. Too easy. The extra honeycomb piece here is gained after defeating the last training mob. And this you'll be using a hell of a lot. It is effective on pretty much any enemy. Bottle says it's for air enemies, but if you jump low enough, which is very easy to do, you can attack most land enemies too. And there's the extra honeycomb piece from the last mob there. That's all the basic attacks. I do believe there's one more move to pick up before we can head up the mountain. Killing enemies now will give you the honeycomb pieces to restore health. And I'll show you that just a tiny bit later. Here's our last move. Ooh, we get to fly! Sweet! Ah, no. Sorry to burst your bubble, but no flying yet. We just get to climb. And that's all the basic moves. Lovely. We can go up Spiral Mountain now, but before we do that, I need to show you a couple of things. Firstly, the extra honeycomb piece for climbing trees is right over there. And you don't need to do a double jump for that. You're not supposed to be able to jump out of the water there, but in a lot of cases you can actually do it, just to save a bit of time. And I will take damage from an enemy here. Most enemies do 1 damage. However, towards the end of the game they can start doing 2, and not pretty a lot of the time, especially if I'm going to be on maximum 5 health. There's the extra honeycomb piece, you get that by hovering, but hover a bit further and we have an extra life behind the waterfall. I won't go and get the other life back on top of the house, I probably shouldn't need it. I'm just going to head up Spiral Mountain now, and how the hell are you meant to hit that? I have no idea. I guess the designers really didn't think that one through. Up we go. Here's one of the cases where the camera is a little bit iffish, but it stays with you the entire time at least, and all you really need to do to go up is keep the stick in the same direction. Okay, now that we've learned all the moves, here's Fix the Bridge that was broken, if you'll note the first cinematic. And we can go straight into the lion's mouth, pretty much literally. And now we get the next part of the story. Not a very well designed machine there. If you can't even stand in it standing up, runty. Silly bitch. You really get a raw deal, Clunger. He worships Grunty, and Grunty treats him like shit. And that's the story in a nutshell. We have to save Tucci. And let's start the adventure here. First thing you'll need to do is go over to your left here, and there is an object up here, and it calls itself Mr. G. What you'll need it for, I'll show you in 2 seconds. Well, maybe not 2 seconds, but soon. Let's move on. Got a locked door there. Wonder where that leads. We got to head up here. It's a puzzle basically. You got to use your puzzle pieces to fill in the missing gaps of the puzzles to get to an extra world. And naturally, we only need 1 to get into this one. And what have we accessed? We have accessed Mumbo's Mountain. And the witch, a bit annoying a lot of the time, but there you go. And that's the end of this video. I'll see you next video for Mumbo's Mountain. Cheers.